First off, I would just like to say congratulations to Arkansas on an unbelievable year. When we heard our name called and knowing that we were going to have to come here, we knew it was going to be an absolutely tough regional. And I just appreciate their play. I appreciate just them, and I just want to congratulate them on a great year. Also, we're thankful for the hospitality. This is our second year in a row coming back, and we just are thankful for the hospitality. The atmosphere here is unbelievable. It's one of the best in softball. The fans and how they roar here, and the appreciation that they have for softball. I would much rather playing in a venue like this where they're cheering against us than to play in an empty softball stadium where nobody is into it. So just love the environment and the atmosphere here. Last year, it didn't go our way. And I remember standing on the field with Allie Bunker and Terra McGowan, and we made a promise at that time to each other that this was happening for a reason and that this is what's going to drive us to next year and what we're going to do. So to be standing on that field and not getting what we wanted, but then to hear our name called and for us to come back here, it was a part of our journey. And we accepted it. I can't say enough how proud I am of our team, and just the fight that they gave, their grit, passing the bat, not just counting on one person to do it. It just was a total team effort, and I just can't say enough about this group.
Now questions for our student athletes. Rob, we'll start with you.
So go back to that moment then. I mean, if you could have scripted the next year beginning with that moment, could it have gone any better than this?
No, I don't think so. We've been talking about a quote all weekend, and it's fate happens so redemption can follow. And I think ending last season with tears of sadness and, coming back here and then being on that same field with tears of joy was the way it was supposed to happen, and couldn't have written it better myself.
As a kid who grew up in Eugene, grew up watching this program. I mean, to come through for this program, provide a moment like this for your teammates, for yourself, for the program. What does this all mean to you?
Yeah, it's a surreal feeling. I grew up watching Oregon softball. I grew up watching Coach Reagan play all of my favorite players, and it was a dream to be able to come here. And then I just wanted to be able to do it for the girls after me, and then for my girls that I'm playing around every single day. So it's one of the best feelings I've ever had.
Ethan?
So last year, I mean, not only did y'all, was it a flip fortune of y'all winning here, but also just this, it was a similar fashion that Arkansas just had two big innings last year to blow things open. This year in the fifth inning of both games, y'all really opened the door. Just how nice was it to, once again respond after things got tight and have such a big inning?
Yeah, I think the big difference for us this weekend was we were treating every inning like the seventh inning. So as soon as they put runs on the board, we had faith that we were going to get them back. We had great energy in the dugout. Stevie pitched a heck of a game on the mound, and we just passed the bat really well.
We've talked about responding all year. That's something that we've talked about in just having a postseason mentality, and I think that's what we were able to do when they got on the board early. There wasn't one person that was afraid that we were going to be able to come back. So,
Ariel, in specific, you had just a phenomenal weekend. Just what was your mentality going into this regional, and with all these games y'all have played over the past few days, how have you been able to stay that locked in?
yeah, just keeping things simple. Over the years, I've gotten to really know myself as a player, and I have a tendency to overthink a little bit. So kind of just knowing that and just freeing myself up and just going up there and taking it one pitch at a time and just see ball, hit ball. That's really all I'm thinking.
You've talked all year about that postseason mentality. Is there an example of a moment, an inning, a point, whatever this weekend when you feel like you really felt that payoff, that like, hey, last year we felt different in this situation, and right now we just feel like we've put ourselves in this spot all year, and therefore we're comfortable with it?
I would say probably yesterday when it became a tight game. I think it was tied at one point or we were even behind. Just having faith, trusting the process, and we've been treating every weekend like postseason. So we came back from being behind in previous weekends. So just sticking with what we know.
All right, we'll turn it over to Zoom. Chris, you may unmute yourself.
Ariel, a couple of weeks ago, you talked about how you were hitting a higher average, but your power wasn't quite there. And it was almost like you flipped a switch from that moment. And you were just saying, you know yourself really well. Did you expect to have the power numbers kind of go up at that moment too? Or is this just kind of, the fruit of positive thinking?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the biggest things about the game is you have days where the ball looks massive and days where it looks like the size of a ping pong ball. And I think just sticking with the process and working hard and going back to just what I do best and watching old videos of myself and just being able to like find that again and get that feeling. I think you just need to feel it one time for it to just everything else to fall in place.
And then Terra, the team overall, this was kind of a flipping the script from last year. You guys were kind of in the same situation. The games got close, but then they pulled away. This year, the games got close and you guys pulled away. Could you just speak to how you think that kind of represents the team, you know, the difference and kind of getting over that hurdle that the team wasn't able to do before?
Yeah, I think kind of what I said earlier, treating every inning like the seventh inning, not letting up off the gas pedal. Even when we got ahead, we wanted more, and knowing what we wanted and knowing how to get it was definitely what set us apart this year.
And then final questions for our student athletes. We'll turn it over to James.
Terra, how much has this burned inside of you for the last year, going back to the regional, but also going back to last June? And what does this feel like when you guys are moving on and UCLA isn't?
Honestly, I haven't really thought about anything this weekend other than the people beside me. It's been a journey since version 1. And, you know, Kate and I really wanted to do this for Coach more than we wanted to do it for ourselves. So just continuing with that going forward, focus on the people around you and nothing around the outside noise matters.
And Ariel, Rob touched on it a bit, talking about being from Eugene and what it means to you. You come in at a time where the program is still in transition and it was a rough year the year before, and then COVID hits. To have this moment and to have this number of RBIs, I mean, it's the most RBIs since Gwen in 2015. What is a first career grand slam and a walk-off and all that, just the magnitude of it mean to you?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's one of the best feelings I've ever had, being able to do it for the seniors and just the girls around me. I grew up being a Duck. I was a Duck before I even started playing softballs, and that I'll be a Duck when I finish. I will always love this university. And yeah, that's all I really have to say. It's just one of the best feelings.
Thanks, Ariel and Terra. You may be dismissed. All right, questions for Coach Rob?
Hear Terra say, more than anything, we wanted to do it for Coach. What does that mean to you about just the connection you've got with these guys?
Just we're connected. I'll be connected to these guys far longer than when this is done. You know, it's just more about what we do on the field. You know, we do life together, and you know, there's times where things go our way and things don't go our way, but it's about, do you guys stick together and get through it? And that's what I'm so proud of them, is that they've just stuck through it.
Comment about, you know, in the past she's overthought things, and Taya kind of said the same thing the other day when she was talking about long at bats, how it, you know, she used to wonder, how do I get myself out of it? She kind of flipped that to, this is an opportunity to have, you know, players who are progressing through their careers start to feel more comfortable and feel like you've helped them develop that way. How fun a part of the journey is that?
I think it's the best part, you know. I mean, these guys come into our program as young girls, and it's my job to and our coach's job to help them transform into young women on the field, off the field, to be decisive with their decisions, to trust who they are and that what they have is good enough in any situation. And we're watching Ariel transform.
Ethan?
Yeah, just like I mentioned, how last year it was just almost eerily similar, exactly how y'all flipped the script. And to hear Terra say that just approached every inning like the seventh inning, we just speak overall on the team's growth since that regional last year.
I think the biggest thing was just understanding that you have to have a postseason mentality, and it's not when you get to postseason. It starts well before that. And just walking away from here last year and not getting what we wanted, you know, when you don't get what you want, it forces you to take a look at things and see, how do we need to go about it differently? And that's where we started. These guys were totally different in the summer with their lifting and the things that they did. They came back in the fall, and just mindset was different. Was different, you know, to play in postseason, you've got to be able to be great, and you've got to be able to be clutch, and you can't allow a moment to get too big for you. And they've just been working on it since last year at this time.
And I know last year it was tough to leave the stadium with a loss, and this year it's Courtney. It was tough for her to see her team go down. I know that y'all were assistants at Oklahoma together. Would you just speak kind of on that relationship, what it's been like to come back here and coach against each other.
Yeah. Courtney is a very, very good friend of mine. I love Courtney. I think she's an amazing person. She's an amazing mom and coach. What she's done here is just unbelievable. I mean, you look at the crowds and you look at what is here, and it's because of her and her impact that she's had. Stinks when you have to go play your friend because one of us has to walk away happy and one of us, has to walk away the opposite. But I don't know. I think we've both been doing this long enough to know that it's just, there's sometimes you could do everything right and not get exactly what you want, or, it's just, that's sports for you. So I think I think the most important thing all of us can do is to put everything we've got out there. And if we do, and it goes our way, great. If we don't, then it wasn't, it wasn't a part of our journey. So I just appreciate her and everything that she's done for the sport and what she does here at Arkansas.
We'll turn it over to Zoom. Chris, you may unmute yourself.
Coach, I talked to you early in the season, and you said that you thought the power was going to show up this year. It was going to be different than it was in years past, and you told me to be looking for that. Was this kind of what you expected, where the power is going to show up in those clutch moments? I mean, it's shown up, but it's not just showing up, but it's been particularly when it was needed most. Is this kind of that roadmap that you had and you were envisioning?
Yes, I knew they had it in them. It's just, sometimes you just, have to go about your journey a certain way and trust that things are going to show up when they need to show up. And I think that's what happened. These guys kept trusting and understand that in order for us to do what we need to do, it can't just take a couple. We can't just rely on Terra. We can't just rely on Bunk. Everybody has to have their hand in this.
And you've talked about the culture, building the culture. And, 5 years ago, you tried to create the culture. These seniors have been the foundation of that culture, but, they're now doing things that you haven't done before. They're kind of setting that bar and raising it even higher, going to a super regional now. Can you just talk about, and I guess you talked about it, but just kind of that progression? They came in, they did things that they hadn't done. They got their minds right and not just their bodies. They've just focused in all phases of the game, and it's been off the field as well. Is that something that you've seen other successful teams have, or, how unique is this group, I guess is my question.
This senior class is really, really special. All 5 of them are. And their biggest thing is that when they were to walk away from this program, they're going to walk away and make it better than it was when they first got here. And they've done that. We've got a lot to do. This is the first big step for us. Now it's the opportunity to go to what's next into a super regional. So we've got a lot more to do. And I think these guys are really in a good place.
James, you may unmute yourself.
Missy, what was the key this entire weekend to improving against left-handers, where it wasn't just one person? It was both yesterday and today. I mean, Ariel homers a whole bunch, but Paige multiple times against lefties. Kai getting an RBI against lefties. I mean, things that you guys hadn't done all year against lefties, you guys did against some really top left-handers the past 2 days. What was the key to getting that done?
I think these guys did a really good job at the plate. I thought that Coach Marty did a good job of preparing them, regardless if they're right-handed or left-handed. They prepared us for the opposing pitchers, and these guys were ready to go. I thought they did a good job of staying on time and swinging at pitches in the zone.
At what point in this year, Missy, did you know? It's one thing to speak it into existence, to believe in it, to project confidence to a team. When did you know this team was going to be capable of going on the road and doing this in this kind of a setting?
Again, I think it's just trusting in our journey. I don't think there's ever one pivotal moment. I think there's a lot of pivotal moments throughout the year. And you could see that happening for us. I think the biggest thing that this group could do was just trust their journey, trust each other, and to keep competing.
And for the 2 seniors who were here since version 1 in particular, and I realize Kate was as well, but for Bunk and Terra, how do you encapsulate their part of this in this journey and where things were in 2019 and how dire things were, and for them to see both extremes of it? How do you encapsulate what they were able to do and how important they were to all this?
They've been great. They've been doing exactly what seniors, elders are supposed to do, and that's to be leaders on and off the field, to have the ability to clutch up, to create confidence amongst our group, to create a culture that's stable. When things are going great, it's great, but when things aren't going our way, that's when you have to really understand that we need to have a good culture and stick together and work through it, and understand that you have to work through adversity to get what you need to get. I think they've done a great job of that for all 4 years, all 5 years, 5 years. Yeah.
And then we'll take final questions from Eric Lopez.
Coach, congratulations. I know it's about the players in the program, but what does this mean for you personally as a head coach, advancing, winning your first regional as a head coach, and with your staff, with Sam and the rest of the staff, and what you've all gone through and to get to this point?
I'm extremely proud of this team. I'm extremely proud of my coaching staff. These guys are excellent. They're unbelievable in what they do. The preparation that they came into this weekend with, but it's just not only what they do on the field, it's what they do off the field. The relationships they build, the communication that they have. Our athletes trust them. Every one of my staff coaches have played at the highest level, and we've either won a national championship, Pac-12 championship, or been standing at the College World Series. And it was important to me to surround our athletes with those types of coaches that have been there and have done it, but then also to really know how to connect and to love on these guys. And I can't say enough about them as well.
You now will get ready to go to a super regional regardless of the opponent. What do you hope that your players take from this weekend moving forward to the supers?
Just to continue to trust in what they're doing, to continue to play for us, to continue to battle adversity, to continue to compete to the highest level. And, we talked about coming here and walking away, emptying the tank. Regardless if we won or lost, we were going to empty the tank here, and they did that. So I'd be doing the same thing.